C major.
C.
F. To start.
Shana Tova, everyone, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It is so wonderful to be with you here today as we celebrate the beginning of this new Jewish year. We're delighted that you've chosen to celebrate with us, either in person or via the live stream. And while, of course, we are a little upset that we can't be outside at Camp Chickamy, as long as we are together, we know that this is a sacred and special place where the service will take place. And we're also just grateful that the weather hasn't been too bad today, allowing us to be together. To begin with a little story. Two brothers were staying overnight at their grandparents' house. As they prepared to settle, their grandma said to them, "Now don't forget to say your prayers before you go to bed tonight." They both got ready to go to sleep, and then when they were lying in their beds, they said their Shema and then offered their own personal prayer. The older brother began by saying, "Dear God, I wish I could get a bike for my birthday." Hearing this, the younger brother then yelled much louder, "Dear God, I also want a new bike for my birthday." The older brother looked at his sibling and said to him, "Why are you yelling? What's wrong with you? God's not hard of hearing." "I know," the younger brother replied, "but Grandma is." As we enter into our High Holy Day season, it doesn't matter whether we whisper, speak, or shout our prayers. We believe that God is closer at this time of year than at any other, with the gates of heaven open to accept the prayers that we will be offering. God is not looking for volume. God is looking for sincerity. God is looking for our hearts to be opened. God is looking for us to join together in words of praise and song. And so in this service, we invite you to join with us, uniting our voices together in word and song. And as this is a B'Yachad service, there are also times when we want you to join your bodies as well, whether that's clapping along or moving around for the various prayers and songs that we'll be singing. And so I hope that when you came in, you took a copy of the Machzor, our prayer book, and a song sheet which has some of the additional prayers that we'll be reciting. And we begin at the top of the song sheet with Asher Yatzar, thanking God for the gift of our bodies.
Last time, let's make it real quiet down here now. Raise your voices up now. All the way up now.
Having thanked God for the gift of our bodies, we turn now to page 122 as we thank God for the gift of our souls. And when you're waking up your soul, you might want to move a little bit to get that soul waken up and ready to go this morning.
Tehorahi, Tehorahi. Elohim Neshama Shenatata Bi. Tehorahi, Tehorahi.
Awake, my soul. Awake, my soul.
Eloheinu shema shenatata bi. Tehorahi, tehorahi. Eloheinu shema shenatata bi. Tehorahi, tehorahi.
Awake, my soul.
Shake it out, it feels good.
Awake, my soul. Awake, my soul.
Last time together.
Awake, my soul.
We now rise in body or in spirit, facing towards the east on page 142 for the words of the Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated. And as we come to our morning prayer for creation, take a moment to look away from this bima. Look out a window, find something green, find a patch of sunlight. If you are watching at home, look away from your screens and find something beautiful to lay your eyes on as we say a prayer for this morning. Hello, sun in my face. Hello, you who make the morning and spread it over the fields and into the faces of the tulips and the nodding morning glories and into the windows of even the miserable and the crotchety. Best preacher that ever was, dear star, that just happens to be where you are in the universe, to keep us from ever darkness, to ease us with warm touching, to hold us in the great hands of light. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Watch now how I start the day in happiness, in kindness. Or chadash al Tzion ta'ir v'niskei chulanu mehera le'orot. Baruch atah Adonai yotzer ha'me'orot.
And before we get to the Shema, our call to worship, we ask you all just to take a deep breath in, Neshima Amuka, and release it again, how grateful we are. And we turn to the Shema, page 150.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta abam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uv'isharecha למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohechem Emet.
One of my favorite parts about the Ve'ahavta is the fact that it's about children and parents turning in love toward one another. And that's what we're going to do right now. So, a few little directions. If you are a child here with a parent, just raise your hand. You are going to give your parent a hug. If you are a parent with a child, raise your hand if you're a parent, okay? Then you are going to give your child a fist bump. All right? If you see a child or a parent in your vision, just give them a wave. It can be across the room. And if you see someone here who may not have a child or a parent, you may give them a wave too. So, 1, 2, 3. Let's do it. I don't see many fist bumps out there. Hugs.
I sent one to my dad.
Hugs. Good. You can do this on the live stream too, by the way. All right. Now that we've connected parents and children, children and parents to grandparents, we sing Mi Chamocha on page 164.
Mi Chamocha Ba'elim Adonai, Mi Chamocha Nedar HaKodesh, Norah Tehilot Osefele, Shira Chadesha Shebechu Geolim, L'Shemecha Al Sfatayim, Yachid Kulam Hodu, V'Himlichu Ve'ameru, Adonai Imlo Le'olam Va'ed.
As we think of Moses and Miriam and the leaders of the children of Israel, who took the children of Israel through the desert to freedom, we invite forward Temple Shir Tikva's president, Jackie Lauren, for some words of welcome.
Thank you. It's very exciting to see this temple full, even though we're not on the field, which I love. It is great to see it full for a second time this morning. Good morning to all of you. On this Rosh Hashanah, we gather to celebrate the beginning of 5784 and reflect on the prior year. I will say 5783 was an amazing year for our community. If you have read my letters, my monthly letters, and I hope you have, you should know most of it. In the past several years, Shir Tikva has made significant progress by embracing a culture of careful resource management. It has not always been an easy balance. Through strategic planning, sustainable practices, and a commitment to efficiency, we have not only reduced waste, but also minimized our environmental footprint. This achievement is a testament to the dedication and hard work of our exceptional team, including our Board of Trustees, our staff, members of our Finance, Development, and Environmental Action Committees, as well as our HVAC Task Force. We are profoundly grateful to them for their tireless efforts and unwavering commitment to our shared goals. Their diligence and ingenuity have not only driven our progress, but have also exemplified the values of responsibility and stewardship, I said it wrong last time too, stewardship we hold dear. It is not a secret that we have an aging building, but I am proud to say we have been making steady progress as resources have become available on our long list of capital improvements. If you came into the building this summer, you would have witnessed the chaos of the long-anticipated HVAC system installation. There have been many days that I had to remind myself that this is what progress looks like. We, the board and the professional staff, agreed that making renovations to both the Early Learning Center and the religious school classrooms, while the students were not in the building and while things were already torn up, made the best use of our time and our resources. The insurance money received from the leak last year, along with the remainder of the beautification fund by an anonymous donor, and some of our building fund allowed us to replace the flooring and refreshen the paint in all Early Learning Center and religious school classrooms. And a donation by the Metropolitan Cabinets and Countertops gave us the opportunity to fully renovate the ELC kitchen. I'm thrilled to say that the HVAC on the education side of the building has been completed on time, and it's amazing. We now have classroom by classroom climate control with air quality filtering, assuring the safety and comfort of our community. A million thanks to our HVAC committee. We have welcomed 90 new members since I stood here last year, including 50 members from the former Congregation B'nai Torah. Please know that we are thrilled all of you have chosen to make Shir Tikva your spiritual home. We look forward to sharing opportunities to learn, pray, celebrate, and support each other while we continue to build the vibrant and amazing community we all want to belong to. We have also welcomed new members to our clergy and staff. Rabbi Lisa Idison has joined TST from Congregation B'nai Torah. Rabbi Lisa will add worship and educational opportunities to our community as she joins our amazing clergy team. Daniel, although he told me not to call him Daniel, to call him Dan, Brasgal as our new executive director. Dan will be transitioning into the position over the next month or so, and we are thrilled to welcome him onto our leadership team. Leah Staffen has returned to TST as our new Director of Community Engagement. She has already jumped right in and made a huge contribution to our events. I also wanted to welcome John Legg as a full-time member of our staff. John's dedication to our technical needs has increased the quality and consistency of our in-person and live streaming capabilities. If you have not already met Rabbi Lisa, Dan, or Leah, I encourage you to introduce yourselves and welcome them to our community. This past Sunday, we had an amazing board retreat led by Sasha Tolgan and Rachel Welt, our on-board Sustainability Challenge Grant Fellows. It was a meaningful and productive gathering for our board. One of the questions we were asked to consider was, I feel a sense of connection to TST because ... It took me a while to answer. Our amazing clergy, yes, that. Our exceptional professional staff, yep, that too. Our choir who welcomed me and my voice with open arms and hearts, definitely. But truthfully, the answer is, I feel a sense of connection to TST because I wanted to. I reached out a hand to Cantor Hollis and asked, and she reached back and tugged, and it has changed my life. We have amazing ways for you to find your own connection. Through our choir, as I did, the wonderful ACE Committee offerings, the TST softball team, the Musar classes led by our Center for Jewish Spirituality, and many learning opportunities offered by our Adult Education Committee, not to mention services for all ages of our community. I encourage you to connect in any or all of these opportunities. Need help finding them? We are there for you. Reach out to anyone on the staff or the Board of Trustees, and we will help you find a way to connect. As always, I need to remind you that your annual fund support is the lifeblood of our community. The annual fund fills the gap in operational requirements that are not met by membership commitments. It is the fuel that powers our mission, enabling us to pursue our goals and make a lasting impact. Annual fund support goes beyond financial assistance. It signifies a deep commitment to our community and a belief in the positive change that we can achieve together. It is an investment in our future. We are immensely grateful to our donors, whose unwavering support empowers us to fulfill our mission statement and continuing to make a difference in the lives of our community. Your contributions not only sustain us, but also inspire us to strive for excellence year after year. I would like to take a moment to express our heartfelt gratitude to the dedicated members of the Board of Trustees and our exceptional staff, Allison Weichel and Jenna Friedman, and the Hanani teachers and Madrahim, Stephanie Lerner and Marissa Kay, and our ELC teachers, Karen Edwards, Leah Staffen, Christina Loftus, John Legg, and of course, Giulio Mikado. Your unwavering commitment and tireless efforts have been the driving force behind our community's success. Don't worry, I didn't forget the clergy. Our phenomenal clergy, Rabbi Danny, Rabbi Lisa, Cantor Hollis, and student Rabbi Heather. Your passion, expertise, and dedication have made a significant impact on our community, and we are incredibly grateful and thankful to each of you. Personally, I want to thank Mary Beth Retker. Mary Beth stepped into the executive director role on an interim basis that lengthened to over 2 years of dedication, leadership, and perseverance. There are not enough words to describe what she has given to our community, and definitely not enough words for the gratitude I feel for the support, encouragement, and friendship that she has given to me. She has been a partner in the truest sense of the word, and I will deeply miss our working together as we have. I know there are amazing things to come from Mary Beth that will continue to enrich our community, and I'm excited to share in those experiences. Please take a moment to thank Mary Beth in person or make a donation to the annual fund, as I have. In our Jewish tradition, we believe that each new year is an opportunity for renewal, a chance to reflect on our past and aspire to be better stewards of our world, our time, and our relationships, a time to imagine the possibilities. As we enter 5784, let us carry forward the spirit of stewardship, building upon the meaningful work we have accomplished this summer and embracing our new members with open hearts. May this be a new year, one of continued growth, deeper connections, and a stronger commitment to our community. Shana Tova.
Beautiful. Really great. Thank you so much, Jackie. We continue now on page 166 with the Amidah that is also known as the Tefillah, the prayer and the standing prayer, so you know what to do. If you are able in body and or spirit, please rise.
Adonai sifatai titra ufi agita ilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rahel, Chasdei avot v'imahot, u'mevigu na livnei v'neihem, liman shemo be'ahava. Zochreinu l'chaim, melech ha'fetz b'chaim, v'kotbenu b'sefer ha'chaim, leman k'mar Elohim chaim, v'kotbenu b'sefer ha'chaim, v'kotbenu b'sefer ha'chaim, leman k'mar Elohim chaim. Melech ozer u'moshiach u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch Shemo.
Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah.
Amen.
Please be seated. We continue on page 174 with the very important and difficult poem prayer for the High Holy Days known as the Unatana Tokef.
Unetane tokef kedushat hayom ki hu nora ve'ayom huvoti naseh malchutecha v'kon b'chesed kisecha v'teshev alav be'emet.
We continue with a beautiful interpretation of this prayer that is in your handout as we continue responsively. Let us proclaim the sacred power of this day. It is filled with awe and dread. You write it and you seal it. You record and recount. You remember deeds long forgotten. You open the book of our days, and what is written there proclaims itself, for it bears the signature of every human being.
Rosh Hashanah B'Yachad, u'v'yom Tzom Kippur Yechatemun. B'Rosh Hashanah B'Yachad, u'v'yom Tzom Kippur Yechatemun. B'Rosh Hashanah B'Yachad, u'v'yom Tzom Kippur Yechatemun. B'Rosh Hashanah B'Yachad, u'v'yom Tzom Kippur Yechatemun.
On Rosh Hashanah it is written, and on Yom Kippur it is sealed. Who shall be filled with life? who shall merely exist?
Who shall burn with the fires of greed? Who shall drown in the waters of despair?
Who shall hunger for goodness? Who shall thirst for justice and right together? Whose sharp tongue shall speak unkindly of others?
Whose gentle words shall make for peace?
Who shall be plagued by fear of the world? Who shall strangle for lack of friends?
Who shall be shattered by the storms of change? Who shall be plagued by the pressure to conform?
Who like beasts shall use violence to gain power? Who shall shake up the world with just actions?
Who shall be calm in every storm? Who shall be troubled by the passing breeze?
Rosh Hashanah B'Yachad, Yom Kippur Yechatevu. Rosh Hashanah Yechatevu, Yom Kippur Yechatevu.
On Rosh Hashanah it is written, and on Yom Kippur it is sealed, who shall be filled with life and who shall merely exist? Who shall be poor, never appreciating what they have? Who shall be rich, content with exactly what is theirs? We cannot control all of these things, but we can control our response. Our Jewish response is Uteshuva, Utefila, Utsedaka, Mavirim et Roh HaGezerah. We continue on page 184. Please rise as we continue the Kedusha.
Nekadesh et Shemcha ba'olam, Kishem shemakdishim oto b'shmei marom, Kakatuv al yad nevi'echa, V'kara zeh zeh ve'amar, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzivot, Melech kol haaretz, Kivodo.
point, we invite you to engage in your own private tefillah. You may do so using the words from the Machzor or as your heart prompts you, and you may be seated when your tefillah is complete.
Shalom Bimroma Shalom Bimroma Huyase Shalom Huyase Shalom Huyase Shalom Aleinu.
1, 2, 3, 4.
May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. Oh, say shalom. Bimrama. Oh, say shalom. Bimrama. Huyase shalom. Huyase shalom. Huyase shalom. Aleinu.
1, 2, 3, 4.
May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. Oh, say shalom. Oh, say shalom.
We turn now to Avinu Malkeinu, page 223, as we call out to God with our deepest heart's desires. And I'll invite you to read with me responsively. You can read in the English as I do the Hebrew. Should we say? Avinu Malkeinu Shema Kolenu. Avinu Malkeinu, Almighty and merciful, hear our voice. Avinu Malkeinu Chatanu Lefanecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, we have strayed and sinned before you.
Avinu Malkeinu Chamol Aleinu Ve'al Olaleinu V'tapenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion on us and our families.
Avinu Malkeinu Kaleh Dever V'cherev Ve'ra'av Me'aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, halt the onslaught of sickness, violence, and hunger.
Avinu Malkeinu Kaleh Kel Tsar Umastin Me'aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, halt the reign of those who cause pain and terror.
Avinu Malkeinu Kotvenu B'Sefer Chayim Tovim.
Avinu Malkeinu, enter our names in the book of lives well lived.
Avinu Malkeinu Chadesh Aleinu Shana Tova.
Avinu Malkeinu, renew us for a year of goodness.
Avinu Malkeinu Chanenu Vanenu Ki Ein Banu Ma'asim Aseh Imanu Tzedakah V'Chesed V'Hoshienu.
Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, answer us with grace, for our deeds are wanting. Save us through acts of justice and love.
We rise and face towards the east.
Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu,
Avinu Malkeinu,
Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu V'Aleinu, Yemanu Asi, Aseh Banu, Tzedakah v'Chesed, Aseh Banu, Tzedakah v'Chesed, V'Hoshienu, Aseh Banu, Tzedakah v'Chesed, Aseh Banu, Tzedakah v'Chesed, V'Hoshienu. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Hanenu Hanenu, Yemanu Asi, Aseh Banu, Tzedakah v'Chesed, Aseh Banu, Tzedakah v'Chesed, V'Hoshienu, Aseh Banu, Tzedakah v'Chesed, Aseh Banu, Tzedakah v'Chesed, V'Hoshienu.
We continue with our Torah service on page 228. Please stay standing as we get ready to greet our Torahs as we parade them through the congregation. Page 228.
Yeah, but I do the Adonai.
Adonai, Adonai.
Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum B'Chanun, Erech Apayim, Terav Chesed Ve'emet, Noteh Chesed La'alafim, Noteh Ha'ov V'Avesha, Ve'ata Ve'nakeh.
Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Ma'olam Ma'oved. Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, על שלושה דברים בעולם עומד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים בעולם עומד. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו.
You may be seated. So on this day, Rosh Hashanah, we not only celebrate the creation of the world and the birthday of the world, but we also remind ourselves of the story of the world's creation. And so this morning, we will have the privilege of hearing Liat chant for us the very beginning of our whole entire story. And what we learn in this story is that the world was not built with hammers or with nails, but with God's words. And whether or not that idea feels right to you, or whether or not you're thinking about dinosaurs right now, I want to tell you that this story is a reminder that your words matter and that your words have the power to create worlds too. So you can think about that as we're reading our Torah portion, which can be found on page 330. So you can follow along in verses Genesis 1 through 5 on 330. And for our Aliyah, I'm excited to invite up people who create worlds with their words and with their actions. So I'm going to call up our Madrichim and our Stifty board, the board of our youth group, who support us in making programs happen here. And along with them, Allison and Jenna, who are really chief world creators in charge. Oh, Madrichim who have already gone through your Bar Mitzvah. And if not, we're going to catch you next time, I promise.
can you take that? Put that over your right hand. Shannon, would you hold on here? Okay, you hold that. And Leon, you're going to hold on here. Say one. When? 1, 2, 3.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Machar Banu Mikol Hamim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Notein HaTorah.
Amen. Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz ve'haaretz hayita tovavo ve'choshech al pnei tehom ve'ruach Elohim merachepet al pnei hamayim. Vayomer Elohim yehi or, vayhi or, vayar Elohim et haor ki tov, vayavdel Elohim bein haor uvein hachoshech, vayikra Elohim laor yom velachoshech kara laila. Vayhi erev, vayhi voker, yom echad.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, notein HaTorah.
And a huge Yasher Koach to both Liat and to all of our incredible leaders up here. And we take their strength with us as we turn to the Misha Berach, knowing that even as we appreciate creation, as we celebrate, as we're filled with joy, we also know there's a lot of healing needed in the world and healing for people in our community. And so as my eyes meet yours around the room, please feel free to add the names of those in your community who are in need of healing, and we will do our Misha Berach together after that. For all those names we said out loud and the names in our heart, we pray the Misha Berach, and the words can be found in your booklet or on page 245.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Limotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. Let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema. The renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
With that same energy and hope, we turn now. On Rosh Hashanah, we would normally read the Haftarah from Samuel about Hannah's struggle to conceive a child. And we know that this is a struggle that is felt by many in our community who yearn just as she did. And we recognize the power of our words, and we recognize the power of our words to bring comfort and support as we offer this prayer for infertility. Creator and Maker, hear the prayer of those in need, those who, as Abraham and Sarah, Elkanah and Hannah, long for children. The tears of desire are bitter, the days of waiting endless. O God, hear their prayer as you heard Hannah. Speak her silent devotion to you. God of hosts, take notice of your servant's affliction. Do not forget those who serve. Give me a child, and I will dedicate that child to the eternal. May the hopes of those who seek children and struggle with that to be realized, their prayers heard. O God of life and hope, sustainer and maker, and let us say, Amen. We rise now in body or in spirit as we get ready to return our Torah to the ark.
Shalom, 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 shalom. First time in English. It is a tree of life to those who hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. It is a tree of life to those who hold fast to it, all of its supporters are happy. Shalom. Shalom, 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 shalom. It's Chaim Chi, it's Chaim Chi, v'machazikin b'metomecha me'ushar. It's Chaim Chi, le'machazikin b'metomecha me'ushar. Shalom, 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 shalom. One more time, a tree of life. It is a tree of life to those who hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. It is a tree of life to those who hold fast to it, all of its supporters are happy. Shalom, 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 shalom.
All right, and we are going to stay standing because we are about to do what is called the Great Aleinu. And it is called the Great Aleinu because at this time of year, this prayer that we do all the time, we literally get down all the way on the floor. If you've ever done child's pose, or you've ever just been really tired and laid down on the floor, that is the idea here. Whatever is weighing you down, or whatever's a little stressful, or whatever you're thinking about, you get to just release it. And I know that there's not a lot of space, but especially for our young ones, if you want to go into the aisles to try this out with us, you can. And I'm going to say that when we get up here, you can hold each other's hands, and we can help lift each other up out of that low place. So we're going to turn to page 202 for the Great Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol l'tit kedusha yotzeh breshit shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot velo samanu כמשפחות האדמה שלא שם חלקנו כהם וגורלנו ככל המונם ואנחנו
As we remain standing, we come now to our shofar service. You'll find the blessings on page 206. And we're going to invite all of the children who would like to be closer to the shofar, bearing in mind it's loud, to come forward to gather around just the foot of the ark to be close. As we call up our Baal Tekiah, Paul Roberts, to join us.
Yes. But yes, after this.
And for all of you in the community, the important thing to know is that the mitzvah of the shofar is actually not in the blowing of it, but in the listening to it. So we should all open up our ears so that we are ready to hear the voice of the shofar. And we're going to offer the blessings together with Cantaholis on page 206.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lishmoa kol shofar. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu l'zman hazeh.
Amen.
For the first of three sets of shofar blasts, Malchuyot, sovereignty. While it may feel like that there are so many forces that rule our lives and the way we behave, on Rosh Hashanah we recognize that God is above them all, the ruler of all, celebrated as the creator and sovereign of our world. And we'll offer the shofar blast calls together at the bottom of page 206. Tkiah, Shevarim Truah, Tkiah, Tkiah, Shevarim, Tkiah, Tkiah, Truah, Tkiah, Zichronot. On this day we remember the year that has just ended, but we also remember our lives and our loves, the journey we have been on to reach this moment. And we communally, collectively remember our people's history, and we know that God's book of memory remains open. The ending is not yet written. We call out the shofar blasts again at the bottom of that page. Tkiah, Shevarim Truah, Tkiah, Tkiah, Shevarim, Tkiah, Tkiah, Truah, Tkiah, Shofarot. The sound of the shofar echoes through eternity. It has been sounded at so many moments throughout our people's history, and today it calls us to attention as we enter the new year. The future is not yet known. We have the power to affect the year that lies ahead. And together, one final time on this day, we say, Tekiah, Shevarim Truah, Tekiah, Tekiah, Shevarim, Tekiah, Tekiah, Truah, Tekiah Gedolah, Yasha Koach. And we invite the children to return to their families in the community.
Lekol lekol tekeotenu Mevinu mazin mabitu makshif Lekol lekol tekeotenu Utkakal birachamim uvratzon Seder seder shofrutenu.
Please be seated. A few months ago, I learned 3 important lessons from a wheelbarrow. Number 1, hire someone or find a friend to help you when spreading a mountain of mulch. Number 2, a cracked rib is really painful. And number 3, always listen to your wife. I had plans of spreading this mountain of mulch on my own. And over the 3 weeks it took me to get started, my wife very wisely kept suggesting that I should get some help. She was right, and I did not listen. When I finally got started, the wheelbarrow and I had a disagreement. I had anticipated that it would continue moving forward when I was pushing it, while it had decided to stop abruptly, stuck on the concrete. I kept going, and it stopped. One visit to urgent care later, and I learned that as well as being really painful, there is no treatment for a cracked rib. You take the pain medication as needed, and you let it heal. Thankfully, I am now fully healed physically, but I am still reflecting on that experience. A cracked rib is a physical injury that no one else can see. There's no cast, no external signs of the wound. It is an unseen physical ailment. And it's a condition for which there is no actual treatment. There was nothing that I could do to speed up my recovery. I had to just let nature take its course. How many of us are walking around dealing with issues, challenges, ailments that are unseen? What stresses, fractures, strains, and breaks are we carrying in our minds, bodies, and souls that no one else is aware of? And for those things we are experiencing, what can be treated, what just takes time, and what has no actual cure? We are currently facing a mental health crisis. It is largely unseen, it is carried in silence, and yet there are treatments available. The statistics are truly staggering. In 2021, 1 in 5 American adults had an experience of mental illness. And among young people aged 6 to 17, 17% experienced a mental health disorder. When the White House announced plans to tackle the crisis, they noted that 2 in 5 American adults reported experiencing symptoms of anxiety and depression, and 44% of high school students reported struggling with persistent feelings of sadness or hopelessness. These numbers are shocking enough, but this is just the tip of the iceberg, because studies also show that the average delay between onset of mental illness and symptoms and then their treatment is 11 years. How many people are suffering in silence? How many cases are unaccounted for? How many people are struggling alone? The stigma of talking about mental health means that too many of us are suffering in silence. According to the American Psychiatric Association, people avoid seeking treatment due to fears of being treated differently or losing their jobs. This is a problem that affects 40% of the population, but we're not really talking about it. Individuals and families dealing with mental health challenges feel like they're the only ones. The perception persists because we aren't talking about it enough, and then that exacerbates the sense of loneliness. So the silence grows and the problem spreads. It was easy to stand up here and tell you about the unseen challenges of my broken rib. It is much harder to stand up here and tell you about the unseen challenges in my head. The things that make me anxious to an unhealthy degree, the thoughts that will keep me up at night, the feelings of loss I know I haven't fully dealt with or processed. An ordinary shofar, but also a very special shofar. What none of you can see or know is that there is a small hole right here by the mouthpiece. To successfully blow this shofar, you have to hold your finger above it and create a seal. If your finger is not positioned correctly, it will not work. At some point, I realized this trick to be able to use this shofar. To varying degrees, we are all this shofar. There are pieces of us that no one else can see, and possibly a piece of us that no one else might know about, for which we have devised a way to compensate so that we can function out there in the world. The hole in our lives may be the loss of a loved one that we continue to carry long after the person themselves died. The hole may be a condition for which we receive treatment and care, but of which friends and family are unaware. The hole may be a mental health challenge that we or someone we love is dealing with, and something we never talk about in public. And we all generally learn the trick of where to position our finger so that the hole is concealed and no one need ever know about it. For better and sometimes for worse, humans are probably the most adaptable species on this planet. Overwhelmingly, our adaptability is a positive trait that has allowed us to flourish despite a variety of challenging environments and conditions. But there is another side. Our adaptability allows us to conceal things that would be better served being out in the open. And our adaptability means that we are able to tolerate conditions and situations which should be challenged. In his book, The Myth of Normal, physician Gabor Mate considers the way in which we have accepted a toxic culture that leads to mental illness. As he writes, we have become accustomed, or perhaps better to say acculturated, to so much of what plagues us. It has become, for lack of a better word, normal. 2 years ago, I stood up here and talked about our brokenness as we emerged from COVID. I no longer think that we are broken. We are beautifully flawed and vulnerable humans created in the divine image. But we are living and existing in a society that is broken. 40% of us are experiencing anxiety and depression. 44% of our teens have persistent feelings of sadness and hopelessness. That's a broken system. We've adapted to this normal when really we should have been challenging it. Judaism has always been an immensely adaptable religion. We adapted to survive as a diaspora people. We adapted to survive despite the destruction of the first and second temples. We adapted to survive through countless exiles, which forced us to start afresh in a new place. But there is a limit to our adaptability. Because while Judaism has adapted to face new circumstances, it has never adapted to accept a broken society. When the world is broken, we do not change, we seek to change the world. We do not accept the brokenness, instead we seek to repair that which is broken. Tikkun Olam, the repair of the world, is a central idea within our Reformed Judaism. From the very beginning, the world was broken, imperfect, and flawed. And from the very beginning, we have possessed the power to change the world for the better, to repair God's creation. Tikkun Olam is a clarion call not to adapt to brokenness, but to fix it. A mental health crisis of global proportions may seem like a challenge that is beyond us, but that has never stopped us before. Rabbi Israel Salanta, the founder of Musar, famously shared, "When I was a young man, I wanted to change the world. I found it was difficult to change the world, so I tried to change my nation. When I found I couldn't change the nation, I began to focus on my town. I couldn't change the town, and as an older man, I tried to change my family. Now, as an old man, I realize the only thing I can change is myself. And suddenly I realize that if long ago I had changed myself, I could have made an impact on my family. My family and I could have made an impact on our town. Their impact could have changed the nation, and I could indeed have changed the world." And so we don't begin by trying to change the world. We begin by working on ourselves and hope that the impact will emanate from us. While it is unclear when the mental health crisis actually began, it is clear that a significant contributing factor has been the breakdown of social structures that previously connected and united us. Many of the villages that once supported us and our families no longer exist. And the lives that we now live are more solitary and disconnected than ever before. Over 20 years ago, Robert Putnam wrote the book Bowling Alone, in which he charted the decline of social connection since the 1950s. I don't know that he could have anticipated the mental health crisis we are now experiencing, but he recognized that the breakdown in community and social connection would have far-reaching consequences. The good news is that everyone who is here today has taken a first positive step in addressing the crisis. In our modern world, the synagogue may be considered a countercultural institution because it focuses on communal connection at a time when society is fragmented and individualized. The synagogue is one of the few villages which has survived the recent loss of social connection and offers a place where we can come together to support one another and build relationships. As many of you know, Mikol and I live thousands of miles from our families. Our familial village is spread across countries and continents, but we have a community in this synagogue. A few Fridays ago, when our son Benny arrived for services, he didn't take a seat. Instead, he began walking around the sanctuary, and I got ready to give him a look from the bimah. You all know the one. But within a moment, I realized that the reason he was moving around the space was so that he could embrace several people he had not seen during the summer months. Benny moved around the congregation, hugging the people that he likes to refer to as his honorary aunts, uncles, and cousins. I don't know what challenges he will face as he grows up, but I know that in this place, he has a community in which he feels a sense of belonging, where he knows that he is loved and where he has a village that will nurture and protect him. And I know that this is the way that many of our children and adults feel about Temple Shir Tikva. Studies have shown how important that type of support structure and community can be in promoting good mental health. Being here today is a positive first step. And imagine how close you might feel to our community with each additional service, holiday, class, social action, and social event that you attend, making this place your home and village for 365 days of the year. And then, in this community, where people feel safe, valued, respected, and nurtured, we need to find ways to encourage people to talk. The silence which accompanies the mental health crisis is feeding it and exacerbating it. We need to break the silence and start talking about what is really affecting us. There is a model out there for how to do this. And once again, it is our children. If you get to be the fly on the wall when a group of teenagers are talking together, you will hear talk about their mental health, diagnoses, and challenges in a way which is completely foreign to us as adults. They have recognized the importance of being open about what they are experiencing, and we need to follow their example. To this end, we are going to be increasing the work of our mental health initiative in the synagogue. They have already scheduled a 4-part dinner series focusing on depression, grief, substance abuse, and anxiety. These gatherings will be an opportunity to build connections and community, to support one another, and to break the stigma around discussing our mental health. And we, together with the Jewish Family Service of Metro West, will also be hosting Dr. Betsy Stone as a scholar in residence in December to establish a group for parents of high school and college-age students to support them in parenting through this difficult stage, allowing them to have a safe space to discuss the mental health challenges that they and their children are facing. And this is just the beginning. When I broke my rib, there was no treatment available. One of the tragedies of the mental health crisis is that for many of the conditions, there are actually therapists and treatments who could help. A delay of 11 years from symptoms to treatment is too long to wait. On our website, we have a mental health resource guide to help you and your family find therapists, treatment, and support. We, as your clergy, are here to listen. We cannot provide ongoing therapeutic care, but we can provide spiritual support, and we can help with referrals and accessing resources that are available. The shofar's role is to break the silence and call us to action. It is an alarm that is intended to awaken us from our slumber and to open our eyes, ears, and hearts to what is happening around us. It is a siren call that there is work to be done, a world to be repaired. On this Rosh Hashanah, this shofar in particular calls us to recognize that our society is broken and that there is a mental health crisis that must be addressed. By breaking the silence and removing the stigma around discussing our mental health challenges, by re-engaging with community as a place of connection, nurture, and support, and by seeking treatment, we can begin to tackle the crisis here in Metro West. And by starting first with ourselves, we will then change our community, and eventually together, we may ultimately change the world. Shana Tova. As we return to our Siddurim, we rise now in body or in spirit, turning to page 286, as we'll begin first with Aleinu and lead into one day, which you'll find on your prayer sheets.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Sometimes I lay under the moon and thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more war, and our children will play one day, one day, one day. Oh, one day, one day, one day. It's not about win or lose, 'cause we all lose when the world is full of hatred. People not getting on, keep on moving though the waters stay raging. And in this maze you can lose your way, your way. It might drive you crazy, but don't let it faze you, no way, no way. Sometimes in my tear I drown, but I never let it get me down, get me down. Negativity surrounds. I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more war, and our children will play one day, one day, one day. Oh, one day, one day, one day. Oh, one day, one day, one day. One day, one day, one day. Ne'emar v'hai Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo
As we turn back in to face the community and turn in our machzor to page 292, we never conclude a service without sacred memory, remembering our loved ones who are no longer with us. As this is Shabbat, we remember those who mark a yahrzeit at this time. We remember Belle Appelman, Paula Rost, Sam D. Berger, Irving Brody, Cecile Friedler, Abigail Glosserman-Michelson, Benjamin Goldenberg, Mary Golder, Milton Green, Charles Hotchkiss, Jeffrey Kellman, Roy S. McDowell Sr., Beatrice Moss, Marvin Nathanson, Albert Neumeier, Marnie Oscarson Colesta, Shirley Posnikow, Phyllis Rubin, Seymour Sard, and Ruth Siskin. If there are other names you're remembering, please share them now as I look around the room. For all those we name out loud and for those we name in our hearts, we say together, Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach irutei v'amlich malchutei, b'chayachonu v'yomechonu v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, b'galal v'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mavarach la'lam ulmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ah v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitada v'yitalei v'yitalal shmei dekudsha brichu, Le'ela u'le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran ba'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimramav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru amen. If you'll please be seated. As we come to the end of our service this morning, we want to offer a few brief announcements. First of all, there are so many people to thank for making these services happen. Alongside thanking our fabulous Temple Shir Tikva staff, I want to recognize all of the work that Mary Beth Retger, Dan Broskell, and Leah Staffin have done for these High Holy Days. Thank you to our board led by Jackie Lauren, to Richard Kay, John Legg, and Joel Law for their technology and AV support to ensure that we are seen and heard. Thank you to all of our ushers and greeters who've made everyone feel so welcome. To Susan DeSelms and Jay-Z for adding their music to this service. Thank you to Paul Roberts, who serves as our Balt Kia, blowing the shofar on behalf of this community. Thank you to the Wayland Police and Signal 88 Security for keeping us safe. And of course to Julio for all of his setup work. As a reminder, we have Rosh Hashanah Yeladim services taking place at 2:30 p.m. back in here. And then Tashlich will be taking place at Wayland Town Beach. On your chairs, there were guides to a number of programs that are taking place over the next few months, including the Mental Health Initiative dinners, adult community engagement, adult education, and so much more. And on your way out, please do take a grocery bag so that we can collect food for our food drive, helping with this important cause. To end with one final story. A young father was preparing the brisket for Rosh Hashanah dinner, and his daughter, watching with interest, asked, "Why do you slice the ends of the brisket before placing it in the roasting pan?" The father paused for a second and said, "You know, I'm not sure. This is the way my mother always did it, and so it's what I've always done. Let's call Grandma and we can ask her." He rings his mother and puts her on speakerphone and asks, "Mum, why do we always slice the ends of the brisket before roasting it?" She pauses for a moment before answering, "I don't know why. That's the way my mother always did it. We should visit her and ask." With their curiosity piqued, the 3 generations travel to the great-grandmother's house and ask her, "Why do we always slice the ends of the brisket before roasting it?" She immediately responds, "I don't know why you do it, but I never had a roasting pan that was big enough." Just because something has always been a certain way, it doesn't mean that it should stay that way. Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur come as an opportunity to reflect not just on what we are doing, but to also ask the question of why we are doing it. It is a chance to transform ourselves and our behaviors. We should be emerging from this period having reflected on the things that we want to maintain and also the things that we want to change as we enter into the new year. I hope that these 10 days will provide us all with the opportunity to reflect and emerge renewed for the year that lies ahead. Shana Tova Umetuka. We wish you all a good and sweet and happy new year as we conclude with L'Shana Tova Tikatevu.
L'Shana Tova Tikatevu. L'Shana Tova Tikatevu. L'Shana Tova Tikatevu. L'Shana Tova Tikatevu. L'Shana Tova Tikatevu. L'Shana Tova Tikatevu.
Shana Tova and Shabbat
Shana
Shalom.
Tova, Shabbat Shalom.